Thanks for tuning in to Volkswagen Mods and Maintenance with Kyle Steinle. Today we're going to be swapping my Golf front end with the front end of a Volkswagen Jetta. Now the first thing we need to do for the front end swap is to pop the hood. You find the hood release, which is behind the grille, and you disconnect the little latch on the hood release. Now the grille will pop right off, but be careful not to break any of the tabs holding it on. Look to see where the grille used to be, and you'll see 5 screws holding on the top of the bumper. Remove these screws. Next, remove the grille inserts and remove the screws holding the lower part of the bumper onto the car. There are a few more screws in the wheel well holding the bumper on, so take them off. Now you can remove the bumper, so take it off. Next is to remove the headlights, which are held on by 4 screws, 2 on the top of the headlight and 2 on the bottom. Take these screws out and pull the headlight off, and disconnect the wire harness behind the headlights. Now that the lights are off, we can remove the hood. To do this, disconnect the hose for the windshield wiper fluid and pull this out of the hood. There are 4 bolts holding on the hood. To make it easier, you'll need 2 people to take the hood off. Begin by one person holding the hood while the other takes the bolts off. After the bolts are off, disconnect the rod that holds the hood open by itself. Now that the hood is off, you can remove the fenders. There are 4 bolts on the top of each fender that need to be removed. If you look on the front side of each fender, you'll see these black plastic pieces which need to be taken off. Behind these black plastic pieces, there will be 2 more bolts that hold the actual fender onto the car. There are also bolts behind the lining in the wheel well holding the fender on. Take the liner off via the screws located inside of the fender. It's easier to turn the wheel to gain better access to these screws in the wheel well. After you take the liner off, there are screws at the bottom backside of the fender. Now that you have removed all of these screws holding the fender on, you can take the fenders off. Now that you have completely removed the Golf front end, it's time to put the Jetta front end on in its place. First we put the Jetta fenders on, which you can see are shaped differently than the Golf fender to house the Jetta headlights. After both Jetta fenders are on, you can bolt on the Jetta hood. One person will need to hold the hood in place while the other tightens the bolts. Now comes the time-consuming part, which is lining up the fenders and the hood correctly. From far away it'll look fine, but up close you can notice the uneven lines between the fender and the hood. To line up the fenders and hood correctly, you'll need to adjust the screws and bolts holding on the fender and the hood. After everything is lined up the way you want it, take the Jetta headlight and bolt them in place where the Golf headlights were, and connect the harnesses. All the holes for the bolts and harnesses will match up and work fine. Now you can take the Jetta bumper and screw it on in place of the Golf bumper. Again, all the screws you took out before from the Golf bumper will match up and work fine for the Jetta bumper. After you've got on the Jetta fenders, hood, lights, and bumper, you're done. So as you can see, we went from a regular Golf front end to a sleek and sexy Jetta front end. Now that the front end is taken care of in this episode, next time we can start on the rest of the body. We have rub strips to shave, bumpers to mold, and a bunch more, even some new wheels to put on. So tune in next week where I'll be putting on some new brakes and maybe doing some painting. Thanks for watching. This has been Kyle Steinle with Volkswagen Mods and Maintenance. See you next time.